Cheers, folks. Take two. Did a video. Yeah, had sound muted. It was a 25-minute video. Anyway, g'day all. My name's Sean McNamara, and I am not on mute. So we are stepping in for Mr. Stewart, who is on holidays. Lucky bugger. So yeah, so I've offered to jump in. I'll do a video. I'm flat out at work at the moment, so I don't know if I'm going to get to do the training together with everyone. And I'm actually not racing this week myself because I'm chuffing off on holidays Thursday morning. So, but wanted to try and get some laps in quickly to try and put down a competitive, a decent lap time with some good data to be able to do a video for you guys. And I'll do this the same as I normally do it for the team. So I'll do a video each week for the 9.5 guys. Excuse me. But yeah, so we'll just play through an onboard lap, and then I'll walk through, drive through, follow through a lap, and corner by corner I'll throw some insights and I guess how I'm getting around it. I've only downloaded it today. I think I'm 22 laps in, but feel pretty good and at home on the track. So anyway, I'll play this through, and I'll see you on the end of the lap. For that. So, all right. So that's a lap of Mexico, 29,895. The car settings, I mean, it's as per the Jamie Mac fixed stock, as you can see, identical to. However, the fixed stock 64 bias, my black box says 64, but when I watch it on replay, it says 63.9. So I don't know why, but anyway, it's only 0.1. It's nothing, but yeah, straight out of the box. It's a good dock from Jamie. If you're struggling with understeer and things like that, well, it's probably more about how you're driving the track. So we'll go through that. We'll have a bit of a look-see and how you get around the thing. But it sounds working this time, which is freaking mega, much better. So yeah, look, down into turn one, and we'll cover off the other end. We'll cover off the run down the straight at the end of the lap, if that makes sense. But yeah, look, into turn one. So I'm using the ripple strip from an onboard point of view. It makes sense. But yeah, ripple strip is my brake marker. That's not my field of view, by the way, but you're welcome to try it. Yeah, so pretty big brake application. You can probably use a little bit of the curb here to brake on, but it's really unsettled. So I'd just stick to the track, white line the thing. Basically it's a big brake application. And you want to carry a nice consistent pedal all the way in. and really don't want to turn the car in too early. So everything about a big braking zone like this is about keeping the steering wheel straight, keeping the car straight. If you try and start moving the car early or too early in the brake zone when you've got a lot of pedal pressure on it, you're just going to lock the tyres. You're going to lock a front, or potentially you'll then start chasing gears and you'll start locking the rears with compression. So yeah, my 2 cents. Keep the thing nice and straight. If you've got to give yourself a bit of track width to do that, then just move the car over, a tyre width, so that you're not too close here where it starts to turn back in. But that's where I'm braking. And again, like I said, nice big consistent pedal pressure. A little bit of variation there, but not too much. It's pretty much, yeah, it's pretty much bang on. I am using the clutch via a steering wheel paddle. I'm not that good to left foot, right foot brake. So down to second gear. Now you don't want to rush the gears. You just want to be nice and smooth. You'll hear, and you would have heard it on the onboard, but 3, 4. So, sort of just count 1, 2, 3, 4. But yeah, just watch that. We haven't had to use third gear or second gear, sorry, too much in these cars. So that third to second shift, you've got to be a little bit careful with. If you leave it too late, it just doesn't like it. And if you go too early, you'll compression lock. So you've got to find the happy spot, and you've got to make sure that blip is bang on. That's why I'm using the clutch to try and aid that, because you're going to hurt the rear tyre as well. So you'll want to look after the rears. So definitely don't rush that third to second shift, but again, don't leave it too late, because you will. You just get a shit ton of entry oversteer, which won't be ideal. So anyway, so you want to pitch the car in not too early, but not too late. Bit of Goldilocks. But you want to be able to get the car up and on the curb. So you can see trail brake all the way in. And then I'll pick up a little bit of 50-50 here with a bit of throttle, a bit of brake. But you want to get the car up on the curb, and you don't want to shoot too far out here. So you want to sacrifice maybe a little bit of entry speed here to help the next section. Now, I was a little hot in. I'd like to say intentionally, but I'm not that good. So as you can see, I'm sort of just past mid-track. I probably, want to be maybe a quarter of a car back over here. Reason being, you can just see I try to bring the car back a little bit. Now, one thing I say to the guys is where your car lands in these sorts of sections of racetrack, where it lands is where you kind of are. If you're trying to fight the car back to the right to get back to the left for the next corner, you're just going to have an unsettled car. You're going to use, sorry, my cat. You're going to use, just way too much tyre. And it just unsettles the car. So it's kind of, you can see I bring it back a little bit, but it's really not too different from where I landed. And then a little bit of brake just to get weight back on the nose in that transition. Get the car hard over the curb and in towards the tyre wall. Now a little bit of brake there, that's just me being stupid. You don't really need that. That was just leaning on the pedal a bit. So ignore that. But yeah, so you definitely want to get the car up and over the curb. Nice and smooth, and pick up that throttle as well. So as you can see, anytime you jump in a curb in these cars, the supercar, definitely a little bit of throttle helps it just carry a bit of momentum, and just stops it from slowing the car down and bouncing around too much. So yeah, nice and tight on there. A little bit of throttle, and then in the middle you can give it a stab. And then as you sort of transition back here, it's just a little bit of a lift off again. What you don't want to be doing is stabbing the brake and stabbing on and off the throttle. Okay, so just get that throttle control and just 50% and not rush it, because you're just creating an imbalance in the car. So you can just see here, I'll just come out, but it's out to like 45%, 50% roughly, and I just carry that. It's just smooth, smooth, smooth. Once I'm happy with the car, it's got over that curb, you can start to feed the throttle back in, and use all of this. It's freaking ridiculous, the track limits that you can actually use and get away with. So yeah, keep the car smooth. And again, in this section, where the car lands here is where it lands. Start turning the thing in. Don't stick around trying to get back and left, right, and center and all that crap. Just shoot. So yeah, flick it in. Nice on the throttle. You see there's a little bit of slide in the car, but you need that there. Otherwise, you're just going to be understeering. So don't pick up too much throttle. You've got to balance it. And then, like I said, out over the curb. Once you're happy the car's settled, bang, smack the throttle, away you go. And the joy of being able to use all this track is that you're not inducing slide by trying to keep the car narrow. Use it all. Like, don't muck around with it. So down into the next corner. This is a tricky little corner, this one. So brake marker for me is right at the foreboard. I'm probably a touch early here, but not too much. I'm sort of focusing on the entry and the mid, and I'll explain why. But so for me, from an onboard point of view, again, the field of view is a bit different, but there's foreboard. So down. I didn't cover off, sorry, back here. I do apologise, and you can see it on the onboard data anyway. Second gear, second gear, second gear, second gear, second gear, second gear, and then third. Cool. So just to get that. Up to fifth. Bang. Cool. So then here, like I said, big brake application, but you can bleed out of it pretty early. Now, this is probably one of the only times where I say that you've got to turn the car in early. Whilst you're still braking, because it's just that kind of corner. Thanks to Dean Logsdale, I just checked his data because I was struggling a bit here, and I was sort of braking the car a long way straight and then turning the car in quite late. You can angle it in at the corner pretty early. Plenty of grip here. So as you can see, I'm already just putting a bit of lock into the wheel right about now. And there's still a fair bit of pedal pressure on it. So you can get the car in nice and early. Now, the reason I say I probably broke a little bit early is because I was like a low percentage trail brake for quite some time. So really, I probably could have carried a little bit more momentum in. And the data shows that, but that's okay. It's early days. So yeah, nice trail in. And then just sort of roll the car for a little bit. Not long, but you can sort of just roll the car in this thing, get it on the curb, and then around that mid corner, start to pick up the throttle. But you want to keep it narrow, so don't go jamming the throttle. It's smooth little increments. If you jam the throttle, if you jam the throttle at this point, it's just going to understeer. It's going to plow. So you just need to wait for that for the car just to start to want to come around at the back end of the corner, which you can see. Realistically, it's here that it starts turning in a little bit nicer, and I can start feeding in a bit more throttle. Now, I keep the car quite narrow, so I'm using, the arrows, as the great Madison Down once shared with me at Phillip Island. But yeah, for me, I use this as an arrow, whether it's right or wrong, and try and keep the car as narrow as I can because I don't want it out. So you can see I'm just being patient with the throttle. And once I know that the car is in and around, I can get on it. Now you can see the rubber line is actually out here. But for me, I don't want to be out there. So I'm happy to run it a little bit narrower. Second gear through there. Now I short shift to third right about there where I've got the change and transition and start coming back out of the throttle. Now, I don't think I touched the brakes here. We'll wait and see. Let me see. Yeah, a little bit there because it's just a bit wide. So yeah, out of there. We'll play this through, sorry. A bit all over the shop. All right, so third gear on that little change. Again, I don't like the ripple strips here, but yeah, I try and stay off them in most areas. The 3D stuff just destroys the car, just unsettles the car, and you can see there's a lot of cambers in these little valleys with the drains in them. You see the drain there, so it does pull the car left and right. There's only one spot in the track I can use a curb on the brakes, but anyway. Track limits. This is the take the piss. Is that take the piss? Take the piss. If you want to maximize lap time around here, you utilize the track limits that iRacing have in place. So Third gear, get the car rotated back around. Again, I'm just a touch late. That's why I just grabbed the brake there. And you can see that what that does. You're talking like a 5%, right? But look at it. Understeering, bang, a little bit of brake, boom, the front comes in, right? So that's the importance of a trail brake. I used it for the wrong reason then, but it generates the same result. So you can see as soon as that weight goes on the nose, the car will rotate. Now, just a touch wide there. Want to be a little bit tighter and probably angling a bit different. But this is the fun bit. So out of here, and you can see it's just constant throttle. As you come out, just feed the throttle into it. And you're still third gear here. You don't go up, so it's third through this next section. Now, just use everything here. Literally. It's not an off track. It's not a slowdown. Yeah, iRacing track limits dictate that we can do that. So I'd recommend that you do. And I probably left a little bit on the board because technically I should be able to hit that tyre barrier. So there's still probably a bit there depending on the angle of your dangle when you come on through. But yeah, that's definitely, sorry, my voice is getting croaky. I just top up. That's definitely, oh, hear that? Yeah, use it all is the reality. So, and you can see hard in the throttle as well. You're not full throttle, we are there, but through that transition, you're not. Just a little lift over the curb for me, just to make sure the car doesn't burst into wheel spin. So again, it's just that throttle balance. Up and through into here, you can't take the full piss here, but definitely can use the inside. So white line with one side of the car. Now here is just throttle balance. So don't come guns a-blazing into here because you're just going to push wide every single time. So nice and smooth, nice throttle. Get the car around. You can see I'm not full throttle. I can't get the full throttle. And then I'm on the brakes. So again, the old thing, where the car lands is where the car lands. So it's kind of angling back a bit, but then I can get the rotation. So on the brakes, brake marker, I don't have one. It's kind of by feel. I mean, you could say the end of the wall, but for me, this is just a feel section. There's no real brake reference that I'm using outside of I feel like I need to brake. So hard one to explain that one, but yeah, definitely as you come out, get the weight on the nose, and it's not a big one, it's just a bit of a peak, just a bit of a, as you hit the pedal, just a snap, and then just a bit of a trail, just to make sure you got weight on the nose, and then you can take a bit of the Mickey here as well. So, and again, I don't use all the track exit. What I'm finding, I've done 2 videos, one accidentally, but you can see the grey line, the rubber line, and the grey either side of it. What I'm finding is if you try and open this up too much, the car will just understeer. And that's what I was saying earlier at the start of the video around if you're getting understeer with this dock, it's probably the way you're driving the track, not the setup. So have a think about that section. If you are getting understeer here, then try turning the car in a bit earlier and get this right side of the car more into that rubber, if that makes sense. So up into here, so third gear, like I said, you can't fully take the Mickey here. There is an off track. There's not a slowdown. So in the race, you could certainly take the Mickey a little bit more there if you needed to set up a pass or something like that. But yeah, definitely don't use everything here. Throttle again, so it's just constant balance. I keep saying it. Now here is, don't try and get back over here, please. Carry the speed out of this corner. So if we just go back for a second, so nice and smooth, use all the track, balance the throttle, use the track. Now here, again, use it all. Use it all. Get hard on the throttle as soon as you get out of here. It's basically, yeah, car's happy, go. But you see how early you're on it. And I carry third gear through here and out the other side. But yeah, it's just get the car out and smack it and turn it in early. Shoot the thing at this. Absolutely shoot the thing at this. Probably left a few. Oh, what a flog. Pushed the wrong button there. Good thing I didn't. Sorry. Good thing I didn't. There we go. Look at that. It's like it never happened. Anyway, so shoot it full throttle. Use all the track. Get it nice and close to the good old sausage thingy, the bloody tire bundle. And use the exit as well. So that's why you can get hard on the throttle. Up into fourth gear around about here. I think I short shift it slightly just so that it doesn't burst into wheel spin back over and catch the limiter over the curb here. Right there. So I'm pretty sure you'll find I do short shift. Yeah, just there. So it was a little early, not much though. But yeah, so that's really how you're going to get through this section. So flat, get it out wide. I don't think out here is beneficial, by the way, unless you get some monster run that warrants it. But what you don't want to be doing is getting out of the throttle to keep it in. Let the car flow. So up through the gears, so fourth gear there, fifth gear here, and we are braking at the blue line, basically. Now, this is the only corner on the track, or the only braking zone on the track, that I feel like I can use any ripple strip when I'm braking. So, again, decent application down to second gear here. So from fifth down to second, so it's 1, 2, 3, you're there. So nice and smooth. Decent pedal application, but consistent again for the brake. Make sure you've got that happening. And then pitch the car in again. So this is another one. So you can see this is on camber, off camber, downhill and uphill. It's got everything in it. There is so much grip in the middle to exit of this corner. So don't be afraid to send it in here. You really can. And there's a lot of grip. So everywhere else it's sort of the car's a bit understeery. Here the car's oversteery, but that's because of the grip. There's so much front end grip. So you definitely pitch it in nice and early. Again, be careful with that third to second shift, just a reminder. Pitch it in early, get it up over the curb. You can use plenty. I could have used a bit more. It was a bit soft there. And again, you're on the throttle before the curb. And I'm doing the old double bunger go-karting thing. But yeah, so up over the curb. I have a little moment here, and again, that's just because I probably didn't carry enough speed on the exit, and it enabled the rear the front was too grippy. Just enabled the rear to come around. So we'll just play that through. A little slide there. Now here, up on the limiter in second gear, it's up to you how far you want to carry it. Brake marker, I don't know. I kind of use the rev limiter as a brake marker. Now I didn't quite get this corner right, which I was a bit frustrated about, but is what it is. So I use the limiter, and I'm on it for, I don't know, half a second or something like that, and then it's brake. You're not, as the tires dig, you're not going to get the limiter there every time. So, but it is really about the exit out of here, not the entry. So you just want to make sure you slow the car up nicely. Now, I didn't quite get this right. So I did the I'll turn in a little later than what I was to try and get the exit. But I ended up missing the apex a little bit here, and it pushed me wide in the next section. So I'd be recommending just bring the brake marker back a bit from where I did here. And then turning the car in just a little bit early. So as I rotated in, I had to keep a fair bit of pedal pressure on it because it was pushing a bit wide. And you can see here, I've left half a car worth of apex behind. So you want to be angling. It's hard to do it with a mouse and a hand, but instead of angling, I can do it that way. Angling that way. You kind of want to be angling in this way a little bit more. So just getting that car slowed up a little bit more means, and you can see the black mark I've left the old front right. It was just plowing. So yeah, get the car turned a little bit more. Thankfully, I didn't lose a lot of time on this issue, but that's okay. That's what you don't do, and you want to be shooting off here a little bit nicer. Second gear again, stays in second gear. The beauty of second gear and this gearing, I haven't actually looked at what the gearing is, but these corners, you can pick up a lot of throttle because the RPM's so low, you can really launch out of here. So don't be afraid in this little transition which I'm all the way over here and I should be here, to just pick up the throttle. Just balance it over the curbs. Don't hold the thing wide open. But you'll see here, so even though I'm a bit wide, I can still get back to full throttle fairly early. And then again, just balance it over the curb. Use all of this. Get right in on the tyre. You can see it sucks it in there. Doesn't upset it as long as you're being nice and calm with the throttle. Out here, it's an interesting one. I haven't done a lot of laps, so it's a bit of a tricky one to see, but I haven't been able to use both sides of the curb effectively because you've got to turn back in across the curb. So I'm just running up on top and then basically braking the car straight off the curb. So, and again, brake marker for me, there isn't really one here. There's no real reference point as such. You might be able to say, I don't know, depends what car you're in, but the sun strip to the wall, who knows? But it's again just by feel. It's a decent stop initially, like you hit the pedal pretty hard initially, but then it's really just about keeping the weight on the nose because you're not carrying a bucket load of speed here. Now turn the car in pretty early again. Now you want to get it over towards the yellow sausage, but that's about as much as I want to grab. Any more, I feel like it really springboards the car up, and it then wants to bounce on once it comes down. It's not settling, and then that means you can't get on the throttle. So for me, a little bit of curb here, but not a heap, and just making sure that you keep the car settled. As you can see, a bit of throttle on it, and then you're sort of maintaining that 50%, 60% throttle. Now, exit here, I'm not using everything. For me, if you're using everything, then you're turning the car more. Plus, the narrower you can keep it, the less meters you're adding to the track, yeah? So I think the only time you want to be out here is if you're trying to set up a bit of a run onto the straight for a draft pass on someone. I think for qualifying and general, you could run about 3/4 track here. Any wider, I think you're just using tyre and you're burning time, in my opinion. Happy to be proved wrong, but yeah. So you can get back, so you can see it's full throttle very early if you get it right out of here. So full throttle, definitely bang, smack, there we go. And get the car in early. So you can see a bit of lock, but then from here, the steering wheel's almost straight. So you're just driving it with the throttle on the rear. There's a little bit of right hand in it, but predominantly the car's just straight. Run the car out, and this is what I was saying at the start of the lap. Run the car out wide. You want the car nice and straight on the throttle and hit your shift points. If you're cracking the limiter or you're just touching the limiter every time, that's not a tenth, 100th, 200ths each time you catch the limiter. It's a long straight. There's there's 3-4 gear changes in it. So if you're losing 200ths per gear change, there's almost a tenth just down the straight that you're throwing away because you're not shifting the damn thing. So make sure you do that. So we'll just play this through. Up over the curb nicely. Catch it. Back on the throttle hard. Get your shifts right. And celebrate a good lap time. So that's really the reality. I don't know which camera view is best for this, but oh, look at that, straight at the right one. But yeah, it's great track. It's a fun track. I think it's good that Vets have done this layout and not the big banger. Definitely a good call. So yeah, tyre deg's going to be important. Remember the race start. Maybe go do some AI races. Yeah, like the turn one's going to be chaos off the start if people aren't patient and smart about it, and trying to bomb down the inside and pick up 28 spots. It's going to be so easy to lock a brake on a cold tyre in a big brake zone. So be smart, think about it. You definitely want to look after the tyre early because that will reward you later in the run. And yeah, outside of that, it really is, track limits, use them to the iRacing spec. Balance, flow, keep the car clean, big straights, and there's a lot of full throttle. It's the second week in a row we're at a track where you're flat out a fair bit. So any damage you pick up, as we can see in the damage model in these things these days, any damage that you pick up is going to cost you massive around here. So, you know, be smart, keep your car clean, look after it, focus on your exits, practice your starts because the gearing's low, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge. But yeah, anyway, that's my second take on Mexico. So, yeah, any questions, feel free to send me a personal message. You've got no dramas answering questions and helping out. And if anyone sees Jordan Ross on track, feel free to give him a 4X for me. Not a beer, an actual 4X. But yeah, anyway, cheers all. Have yourselves a good one and good luck this week.